Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little children want to play. So welcome to today's edition of our program, and of course today we're going to be doing contraction. Yes, contraction. And what is contraction? Contraction in English is simply a shortened form of a word or group of words created by omitting certain letters and sounds. And this is beautiful because by the time you use contractions in your English expressions, it sounds rather conversational, and for me it's a very sweet experience once you know how to use them and you use them correctly. Just imagine, instead of saying I cannot do this, you just simply say I can't do it, I can't do that, something like that. Or you, instead of saying I do not know what to say, you say I don't know what to say. Before you know it, you just you faster and you sound conversational, and for me it's a lot of beautiful. It's just sad that I didn't see this much in Hausa, but I think it's in Arabic language. But in Hausa, for example, they also have something which I find very interesting. Not in Hausa generally, but in northern Nigeria, you just discover people, instead of saying Mustafa, you have Musti, but that is not a contraction. That is called rather to corrupt somebody's name. Instead of saying Chuku Emeka, you can have Chuks. You've corrupted instead that person's name. Now for contraction, here are some common contractions with examples in English language. Let's start first and foremost with pronouns which are combined with verb contractions. For example, you have I and am. Instead of saying I am, you say I'm. I said I'm going to the store. Instead of saying I am going to the store, you say I'm going to the store. And then you have you and are. Instead of saying you are, you say you are. You are my best friend. You are my best friend. Of course, another one is he and is. Instead of saying he is, you say he's coming over. He's coming over. And of course, you have another one, the combination of she and is. Instead of saying she is, you say she's. All right, she's a great teacher. She's a great teacher. She is a great teacher in that different, a separated fashion. Say she's a great teacher. You can also have it is. Instead of saying it is, you simply say it. Of course, you're going to be using apostrophe to show, of course, something or a sound rather, or a letter has been omitted. You can also have we are, and you say we are excited about the trip. We're excited about the trip. Instead of saying we are. Of course, this is beautiful. Then the second category is when you combine verb and not contractions. That is when you have, for example, is and not. Instead of saying he is not my teacher, you simply say he isn't my teacher. He isn't my teacher. And I think, yes, like I said, it sounds very sweet and conversational. Another one is, like I said, this isn't what I expected. This isn't what I expected. And of course, you can have another one like are not. Instead of saying are not, you said aren't. I have heard people saying aren't, but I think the better option is just say aren't. All right, they aren't ready yet. They aren't ready. They aren't ready yet. Kind of. And of course, you can have another example where you combine was and not. Instead of saying he was not at the meeting, you simply say he wasn't at the meeting. He wasn't at the meeting. Instead of saying he was not at the meeting. All right. And then of course we can have another example like were not. The past plural form of was. Okay. You have instead of saying were not, you said they were not invited. They weren't invited. They weren't invited. Instead of saying I have not or I have not seen that movie, you say I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. You can have has not. You now simply say she hasn't finished her homework. She hasn't finished her homework. Instead of saying had not, you say they hadn't met before. They hadn't met before. All right. You can have another combination, which is going to be our last, of course, example. You have the modal verb contractions. And now we have a combination of will and not. Will and not, you can have won't. You said, I won't be able to attend. I won't be able to attend. And of course you have would and not. Now here you can have an example like, she wouldn't agree to that. She wouldn't agree to that. And then you can have cannot. Alright, cannot, you simply say can't. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. You have also could not, and in could not you can also say he couldn't find his keys. He couldn't find his keys. We also have should not. In should not you can say he shouldn't do that. He shouldn't do that. I said it's going to be the last, but let me just add another one. You have other common contractions like let us. In let us you simply say let's. Okay, let's go to the park. Let's go to the meeting. Let us go to the meeting. Now you say let's go to the meeting. And you can have another one like that is. In that is you simply say that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And you can have another one which is there is, you say there is a problem here. There is a problem here. Instead of there is a problem here, you say there is a problem here. And finally, this is going to be our last example, is when you have the combination of who is. You say who's there? Who's there? Oh, who's coming to the meeting? Who's coming to the meeting? Okay, like I said, using contractions can make your speech and writing more conversational and natural. More conversational and natural. Please start using contractions. And of course, one thing I didn't say at the beginning, which I must make you understand now, is that contractions are used in informal situations. Of course, you cannot be using contractions in formal situations, like when you're writing a formal letter, and of course when you're attending very serious-minded interviews. Thank you very much for listening. We'll continue this next lesson. Thank you.